Welcome to the show, everybody. Good morning. Enter the stars. Trump, the Gemini, is in fact Janus, and that's going to be the topic of today's show. Who is Janus, you may be asking? Well, Janus is the ancient Roman two-faced god. In fact, a gate or a wall was named after Janus. The gate was called the Ianus Geminis. This is it right here, pictured on this coin. We're going to talk more about this gate later in the show, but I wanted to open the show with this because this is indicative of Trump's wall. Now, as we go through some of these points that seem to mirror the Janus two-faced god, understand that everything that I mention is referenced in this Wikipedia page for Janus. Okay, so I'm going to reference this page throughout the show. Now, Janus' name means doorway or passages, kind of like a time traveler. He was referred to as the beginning and the end of all things, knowing the past and the future. Janus could see into the past with one face and into the future with the other. He is actually referred to in this Wikipedia article as the master of time. Does this all sound familiar? Janus could be a double for Kronos, which of course is Saturn. You're going to see references of Saturn to Janus as we move through this live show. Do you remember the clock at the foot of Trump Tower? Remember this? Let's pull this up here. This is it right here. Let's look at images of the clock at Trump Tower. Well, there's more to this. And as we've talked to you about in other shows, the makers of Back to the Future, way back in the 1980s, they admitted that the Biff character was based off of Trump. All the way back in the 80s, when Trump was nothing more than a millionaire at that time. An up-and-comer, but nonetheless, they based an entire series off of this man, almost as if they knew what was going to happen. Here's the Trump Tower clock. This is all about time travel. Now, what else is going on with Janus and Trump? Well, there's a Biff reference in the Janus archetype. Yes, Biff. Same character from Back to the Future. In fact, the two faces, the way it's depicted of Janus, is called the Bifrons. What you're looking at here is called the Bifrons. We're going to call it the Biffrons because that's what the intention was. And Bifrons means two faces. Now, not only is Janus called Bifrons, but Biff and Tannen are the names of demons. Let's take a look at that. Now, I'm going to link all of these pages that I have pulled up here in the pinned comment for after the show, so you can have proof of all this. This is what I believe the inspiration was for Biff, Janus, Bifrons, the two faces. And these are the two demons named after Biff Tannen. Here's Bifrons as Janus, so you can see the documentation for that. Bifrons is the two faces of Janus, the god of beginnings, transitions in ancient Roman mythology. Here is the list of theological demons. We have first Bifrons, and we have Tannen, Biff Tannen, from Back to the Future. And this is why they depicted Biff as Trump. Now, here's the Bifrons demon. Remember, this is Janus as well. A demon described in demonological grimoires, the Lesser Key of Solomon, as the 46th spirit in the Pseudo-Monarchia demonium as the 47th spirit. Let's keep reading about Bifrons, the demon. That demon looks familiar because he's often depicted in some of these horror films, right? With these razor sharp teeth, bald, no hair, with the eyes set wide apart. Some of these horror films seem to depict this demon, okay? And it says here that it was mentioned in the Dictionnaire Infernal. In these works, he is described as an earl who initially appears as a monster before adopting a more human form. His duties include teaching arts and sciences, including astrology, geometry, and the properties of different plants and stones. He also moves bodies into different graves, lights candles over graves, and depending on the version, commands either 6, 26, or 60 legions of spirits. According to Rudd, Bifrons is opposed by Shemhamforash, angel Ariel. So that's the angel who controls this demon or keeps him in check. Here's the other demon. Now this is more like a monster. This is Tannin, Biff Tannen, remember? And this is actually the word used throughout the Bible, the Hebrew word for this Leviathan creature. It's a symbol of chaos and evil. The name may derive from a root meaning howling or from coiling in a manner like smoke. In modern Hebrew usage, the word Tannin means crocodile. Tannin appears in the Baal cycle as one of the servants of Yam, defeated by Baal or bound by his sister. He is usually depicted as serpentine, possibly with a double tail. There's that double reference again, right? The Tannaman also appears in the Hebrew Bibles of Genesis, Exodus, Deuteronomy, Psalms, Job, Ezekiel, Isaiah, Jeremiah. They are explicitly listed among the creatures created by God on the 5th day of the Genesis creation narrative, translated in the King James Version as great whales. The Tannin is listed by the Apocalypse of Isaiah as one of the sea beasts to be slain by Yahweh on that day. The dragon. So, these are the roots of Biff Tannen. I mean, the similarities are uncanny. Now let's keep going with this because there's much more to this story. Janus was all things to all people, the beginning and the end, the Alpha and the Omega. Now this part I'm going to actually search the page to show you the Apollo references, and there are many between Janus and Apollo.
Hey Gwen, you want some coffee?
No thanks. How about a beer?
Yeah, right. Hey, I got a full house.
That's good, Louis.
Must be my lucky day.
got the cops underground.
Pull him out. Pull him out, now!
Through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof
That's a lovely, lovely voice.
that our flag was still there. Oh, see does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Let the games begin.